Good evening to all. I'm Dr. Srinivas, Ecology subject faculty, PG Diploma in Environmental Studies. మనము Ecology, Environment and Development subject ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్లో yesterday we have got about the introduction of the ecology. We are yesterday unit 1, ecology and ecosystem. Unit 1, black one. Yesterday we started ecology ecosystem. Unit 1 we are completed. Introduction to ecology we are completed. Today we are starting to unit 2. Unit 2 main is biological process. Within the biological process, origin of life, theory of species, special creation, theory of spontaneous generation or abiogenesis, theory of biogenesis, theory of panspermia, cosmic germ, the biochemical origin of life, modern hypothesis of the origin of life, origin of organic compounds, formation of micromolecules, biological evolution. These topics we have covered in today's topic, biological process. Means origin of life is the most important topic because of life is a life is thinking about the human. Without life there is no no animals, no trees, no atmosphere. That's the life is the most important. How it is life is origin. We are studying. Today we are learning the origin of the life. Our topic is the biological processes. Within the biological process, origin of the life we can study. Within that evolution of the evolution theories and the density of population, then population types of distribution of the population. So the animals species, how the life is distributed, density, how it is the density. One place is more animals staying one place. Remaining place there is no animals, no life, no place. So why that place only the animals are living? That type of questions we are raising for this original life. In the ancient past, in olden days, it is believed that life organized de novo. In the ancient past, in olden days, it is believed that life organized de novo. Several theories based on the different observations or ideas were proposed, but by the terms of this century, all these theories were ruled out and the widely accepted biochemical origin of life was proposed. Means many theories are came, many proposals are came, but finally the biochemical chemical origin of life is approved. Many in the present century. A different theories known as a origin of life as a different theories. What type of theories we are just basically we study? First one is the theory of special creation. Theory of special creation. Special creation. This theory states that life was created by an unknown power either once or at successive intervals in the Bible. It was written that the world was created within 6 days. Means the theory of special creation. Special creation means the theory states that the life was created by unknown power, either once or at successive intervals. Means unknown power is created by a proposed theory. The Bible it was written that the world was created within 6 days. In the Bible, written within 6 days the world will be created. According to Hindu mythology, the world was created by God Brahma. God's men and devils were formed from his head, birds from his chest, goats from his mouth, and plants from the hairs of his body. So in the Hindu mythology, created by the god Brahma, in that gods, men, and devils were the formed from his head, birds from his chest, birds from his mouth, and plants from his hair only. So this is the special creation of the. So someone talk about this type of the theories. Second one is the theory of spontaneous generation. Theory of spontaneous generations. Within this till 17th century, people believed in abiogenesis or spontaneous generation of living being from non-living substances. Epicurus, an ancient Greek philosopher, stated that worms and numerous other animals were generated from the wet soil or manure by the action of sun and air. Aristotle also believed that living creatures are born from like species, but they also arose spontaneously. The common worms, bee larvae, wasps, ticks, glowworms, etc., are born from dew, protein, slime, manure, dry wood, sweat, meat, etc. is developed from the sea mud. Frogs and salamanders from coagulated slime and butterflies from cheese. The theory of abiosis was also supported by the Thales, Alexander, Madaris, Newton, and Discursive. Third theory is the theory of the biogenesis. Theory of biogenesis. Francisco Redi, 1621 to 1697. Francis theory. Francisco Redi is a scientist. He is proposed in 1621 to 1697. Showed that the abiogenesis cannot exist. Abiogenesis is cannot exist. It is never exist. Always living. In this simple experiment, Reddy cooked few meat pieces and placed them in three jars. Jar A was covered with a parchment paper. Jar B was covered with muslin cloth. Jar C was left uncovered. After a few days, maggots appeared in jar C but not in A and B. Plenty of flies were seen sitting and laying their eggs on muslin cloth covering the jar B, but no maggots appeared in the meat. In the jar A, the files and could not enter inside, and no files or nugget appeared inside the jar A. Even even for days together. From these observations, Reddy demonstrated that the flies arose from the eggs laid down by the parents twice and that the maggots cannot appear spontaneously. Abbi Spallanzani, 1921 to 1799, and Louis Pasteur also proved that abiogenesis cannot exist in the nature. Abiosis cannot exist in the biosphere. In 1929, 1799, Louis Pasteur also proved in this theory. The theory of the cosmozoic theory. This theory stated that life was distributed throughout the cosmos in the form of the resistant spores or cosmosia. These spores reached the Earth from the other planets, though meteorites or celestial bodies. in the presence of the favorable conditions. These developed into organisms. Fifth theory, biochemical organisms of life are modern hypothesis of origin of life. Haeckel propounded in the modern hypothesis of origin of life, he stated that the most primitive organisms would have been generated spontaneously, at the same time from some inorganic matter as a result of the formative action of some special external physical forces such as electrical charges, ultraviolet light, and compulsor radiation of radioactive elements. This hypothesis was refined by the explanation and experimental support of the scientist Haldane Avon, Operin, Stanley Miller, and H. Curley. The Russian biochemist Avon Operin schematically presented the Earth is a The Earth is believed to be formed about 5 to 6 billion years ago. Initially, it was a mass of hot gases and vapors of various elements. These gases condensed into a molten core, and the heavy elements like iron and nickel occupies the center. And lighter elements like silicon and aluminum occupied in the middle zone, whereas the lightest elements like helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon occupied in the surface and formed the gaseous atmosphere. At that time, the temperature was roughly around 9 degrees centigrade, and the elements like hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen could not exist in the free state. They combined among themselves or with the metals forming oxides, carbon dioxide, carbides, nitrates. These compounds at the higher temperature turned into a gaseous state, and water in the form of the water vapors and formed the atmosphere of the primitive Earth. Thus, the atmosphere of the primitive Earth was composed of ammonia, means NH3, methane, CH4, water vapor, cyanide, carbon monoxide, CO, and free hydrogen, but without free oxygen. The Earth got cooled gradually, and gases which constituted the atmosphere of it got liquefied. Some of the liquids not transformed into solids. The water vapor in the process of the cooling got condensed and resulted in the form of rain. Such rains cooled in the Earth's surface. As a consequence, larger water bodies, means oceans, came into being. These larger water bodies are oceans bear ammonia and methane of the atmosphere. They also contain the minerals and salt, and they are basically alkaline in nature. Thus, 3 billion years ago, the Earth developed a solid crust with eruptions of the molten rocks and place filled with the boiling seawater. The seawater contained dissolved ammonia, methane, minerals, and salts. Its atmosphere is having ammonia, methane, and hydrogen, but without free oxygen. The Earth at that time also experienced the high energy radiations. So the our Earth is formed like that. Sixth one, origin of the organic compound. Number fifth is a very interesting, very truly forming. So the most of scientists and many people are accepting this fifth one, biochemical organism of life or modern hypothesis of origin of the life. These are mostly nowadays we are following these. Next, sixth one is the origin of organic compounds. When the temperature of the earth got cooled down to below 100 degrees centigrade, a variety of saturated and unsaturated simple hydrocarbons were formed. They are acetylene, ethylene, methane, etc. The formation of oxy and hydroxy derivatives such as aldehydes, ketones, and acids are formed when the unsaturated and saturated hydrocarbons reacted with the water from the hydroxy derivatives. Small chain compounds like glucose and fructose are derived. Their condensation formed the dishalide halides and polysaccharides. Condensation, the polymineralization of the oxy-hydroxy derivatives such as aldehydes and ketones and their oxidation had resulted in the formation of fatty acids. The combination of glycerol and fatty acids might have resulted in the formation of fats under the influence of the freely available force of the energy. The hydrocarbons formed the ammonia acid. The polymer- polymerization of ammonia acids lead to the formation of protein molecules. The seventh one is the formation of the micromolecules or complex organic molecules. The molecules of the simple organic substances had aggregated, reacted, and formed new complex molecules. Thus, the polysaccharides, fats, proteins, purines, pyrimidines, nucleosides and nucleotides got originated. The formation of the protein molecules is a significant event in the origin of the life. Another important event in the origin of life, the formation of nucleic acids by the polymerization of nucleotides. Due to the union of the nucleic acids and the protein molecules, giant molecules of the nucleoproteins were formed. It is a pressure presumed that such giant molecule protein molecules had the characters of a free-living gene. A number of such genes might have come together to form a single large unit comparable to that of a virus, and the unit was referred to a protovirus. All these events lead to the formation of the nucleoproteins and other complex micromolecules are referred to as a chemical evolution of life. The events succeeding to these are described under biological evolution of life. Biological evolutions. The biological evolution, the giant organic molecules formed through chemical evolution of life aggregated in the different combination and formed the large colloidal particles. These were named as a co-acerates. These co-acerates contain more than one type of protein nucleoproteins and other organic and inorganic molecules in various combinations. They appear as distinct bodies suspended in the water media. These co-associative, according to AI orthoheparin, can grow and reproduce by the taking molecules of other substances. Such forms have formed the surface membranes around them. These membranes are formed from the lecithin, sipalin, etc. The formation of surface membrane resulted in the accumulation of various substances in coactivated. The internal reactions like catalysis and absorption also occurred within them, and some of the proteins in the reactivates got differentiated into enzymes. These enzymes were able to complete some reactions which otherwise require huge amount of the energy and highly temperature. All these changes ultimately resulted in the formation of the first living cell. The co-associativity in due course with nucleoproteins molecules surrounded by the surface membranes have accumulated nutrients shells and became the first living cell. Evolution. The term evolution denotes the evolution denoting the unfolding of the life. Evolution is a process in which the complex organisms are formed from the simple organisms. Evolution is due to descent with the modification. The idea of organic evolution was rightly emphasized by the Charles Darwin in 1859. Charles Darwin is proposed this evolution of the life is proposed in he wrote one book, Origin of Species. He is written how it is a life is evolved. He is written. So many theories is there within this book. So within that we studied 3 4 examples. So prior to Darwin, a number of philosophers and scientists thought about the evolution. Empedocles 495 to 435 BC. Before Christ, he said, whose Empedocles, the scientist name, he proposed. The Greek philosopher opined that the life was spontaneously formed, but it was gradually evolution occurred due to the interaction of the forces. The Greek philosopher says the life is spontaneously formed, but it was a gradually evolution occurred due to the interaction of the forces. Any interactions with the force. Aristotle proposed the scale of beings. Aristotle proposed the scale of beings. He said that organisms could be arranged in a graded series showing three by a gradual evolution of living organisms occurred in nature. The discovery of organic remains of the certain animals and planets which were not existing at the present has led to the idea that life existing in the past has become extinct due to catastrophic changes. And his idea as formulated the theory of catastrophism by Fourier is rooted in 1769 to 1832. James Hutton is a scientist, James Hutton, and Charles Lilly. Uh, James Hutton is 1785, Charles is 1932. Established the concept of the Uniformitarianism. It states that the slowly acting geological process, such as erosion, sedimentation, disruption, etc., resulted in the formation of fossil bearing rock strata. Corollas Linnaeus, 1707 to 1788, believed the special creation. He classified the animals and the plants and the pre-submit the species of the different organisms are immutable and fixed entities. The explaining the concept of the organic evolution, Lamarck 1744 to 1829 has proposed the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. The salient features of the Lamarck theory are the following. Lamarck theory: the organisms acquire the changes or varieties in the body due to the changes in the environment. The changes thus acquired by the organisms are inherited to the next generation. The theory of Lamarck is supported by the Lasisco 1930. The Lamarck theory, the Lasisco is a supposed, is a nice, which many people supported. Theory of natural selection 1830 to 1888. Darwin formations, the most accepted theory of natural selection. In this book Origin of the Species, this theory stated that variations occur in the population and that these variations are generally caused by the recommendation in sexual reproduction. Sometimes these variations may occur due to mutations which are referred to by Darwin as spores. Darwin states that nature favors only those individuals of species having variations to suit to the environment or nature. The unsuccessful individuals are eliminated by nature. Thus, nature selects and favors certain individuals and eliminates others. This process is called natural selection. Thus, natural selection leads to speciation or evolution. Darwin's theory of mountains, Davis 1848 to 1935, the theory states that the large and significant variations in the organisms occur all of a sudden due to the mutation or saltations. Such mutations favored by nature would lead to the organic evolution. Modern synthetic theory. A modern concept of the evolution is a synthetic of the Darwin theory of natural selection and the Darwin's theory of mutations backed by the knowledge in genetics. It is a outcome of the views expressed by scientists such as Fisher, Haldane, Huxley, Siebel, Rupert, Charles, Muller, Mayer, Stephen, etc. Scientists that many of the people supported the cause. Next is that we are studying in the species rich. Species concept means species richness. The species are the considered is a fundamental biological unit of taxonomy as well as the evolution. Up to 19th century, the species were regarded as a man-made categories of thought with no stability of characters. But Linnaeus, for the first time, said that species have constant characteristics and sharply delimited against each other. Species concept. If the species recognizes species, different concepts were proposed. Within that, three concepts were proposed. Number one is a morphological species concept, two is a genetic species concept, number three is a biological species concept. Three concepts are the came in our infant. Number one is a morphological species concept. According to this definition, the population consisting of the morphologically distinct organisms would constitute a species. In elaboration, a morphological or taxonomic species is defined as a group of individuals that resemble each other in most of their visible or morphological characters. But morphological species concept is not applicable in all cases, and very often morphological differences are seen among the individuals of a single population or between non-specific population but between related species. Example, seasonal polymorphic forms of taphonia. Second concept, genetic species concept. Some genetists like Lostly, Lostly 1918 defined the species purely on the basis of genetics. The concept stated that the species is a group of genetically identically individuals. This definition is ruled out for the reason that no two individuals are genetically similar. So, genetical concept. Third one is the biological species concept. The biological species concept was put for the Dobji hockey in 1937 and the Mayer in 1942. The Mayer 1942 concept is the most complicated, most complete and practical definition on biological species. It stated that the species are the group of actual or potential interbreeding natural population that are reproductively isolated from other such groups. Reproduction system is their species. Population with density and the distribution of the population. Within that, we are studying the population. The population within the two subheadings is there. The species population, the space relative population, time relative population. The two headings is there. The space relative populations. This is the number of organisms. This is the number of organisms per unit of space they occupy. This is commonly called density of population. Density of population. These special unit varies both with the organism's study and the judgment of the investigator. Thus, in human populations meets such units as square miles, meters, cubic feet, beads, etc. The generalized definition of a space relative population is that D is equal to T capital T by A, or the density is equal to absolute number of organisms in a area or number of special units in that area. Those are based on the space. It means how much area the car spaces will be occurred in. So in that based on the space means any place. Based on that place we can Explaining.
Next one heading is the time-related population. This can be defined in on form as the difference between the number of a population at a particular day t and another day t1 relative to the absolute number at the earlier day 1 t1 and average to some appropriate figure of time. The population density is the total. The density population. Density of population. The population density is a growth phenomenon. Density is a numerical concept and the population product. The factors affecting population can be distinguished based on the density factors. The factor number one, the factors affecting density of population, Thompson, 1928. They distinguished the factors affecting population into two categories. Number one is a catastrophic generation or independent, catastrophic independent, largely comprised by the physical chemical aspects of the environment. Physical chemical aspects of the environment. Number two, the facultative individualized dependence. The predaceous and the parasitic organisms in 1935 Smith reconsidered the classification and proposed the term the density independent mortality factors and the density dependent mortality factors. What here means density, density independent mortality factors and the density independent mortality factors. These two is the most important. Density independent mortality factors. Within that, the density independent mortality factor destroy a constant percentage of the organisms in space, intermediate or dense population. These factors are analogous to the catastrophic or general of concern. The density dependent factors destroy a percentage that increase with the density. These factors are the analogous to the facultative and the individualized factors of the concern. Least 1949 state that mortality can decrease as well as increase with the density. Accordingly, the proposed that the density dependent factors be split into direct and inverse categories. Direct density dependent factors are the pair factors wherein mortality increases with density. Inverse density dependent factors are those eliminating influences which take a decrease in percentage of the individuals present as the population increases. Thus, the following classification hold good as per the above the explanation. Number one is the density independent mortality factor. Number two is the density dependent mortality factor. Within that, directive and indirective. The physical or climatic factors that affect the population densities are summarized by the Uravirov and they are follows. Number one, temperature as a controlling factor. Temperature is always controlling factor. Sometimes we can control, sometimes we cannot control. Almost of this, the temperature is the most of the controlling factor. Within that, direct injury by the high and medium temperature, effective of high temperature on the reproductions, winter mortality and the general effects of the low temperature, favorable effects of the temperature. Second heading is the precipitation. The excess precipitation, deficient precipitation of winter precipitation, effects of rainfall, effects of the rainfall, including storms and the hail storms, wind, atmospheric pressure, thunderstorms, temperature and rainfall, temperature and humidity, temperature and slight food quality and quantity as related to climate. The chemical factors that affect the population in a density independent fashion are classified as chemical factors of the environment. These are the particular significance in aquatic groups, but example can also be found among studies, laboratories, natural laboratories, and the natural terrestrial population. These factors include number one, hydrogen ion concentration, number two is the salinity, number three is the oxygen, number four is the carbon dioxide, number five is the calcium and the other micronutrients, number six is the pollution, number seven is the food. Density independent factors. Density independent factors is the density independent factors include the biological factors such as number one, parasitism, number two is the predators, number three is the competitions. These are example density of the independent factors. Number which one is the types of distribution of population. Types of distribution of population. Within that, distribution in space, the for random distribution, the non-random distribution, distribution in time. These four things is there within it. The types of distribution of the population. The distribution of the organisms can be classified. Number one is the distribution of population in space, and the distribution in time. Distribution in space, distribution in time. So is it distribution in space. The terrestrial and aquatic organisms can be distributed in space in the horizontal direction. Such distribution is governed by the physico-chemical and biological parameters. The horizontal distribution of a population is distinguished as random and non-random distribution. The random distribution is a primarily governed by the mechanical factors such as wind, water currents, inflowing and outflowing waters, etc. In aquatic environment, the other physicochemical parameters such as light, temperature, dissolved gases, nutrients are responsible for the random distribution. The biological parameters such as behavioral aspects, distribution of the plants, uh, predators, etc. also govern the random distribution. The random distribution is also referred as a patchiness. The non-random distribution is a range phenomenon, rare phenomenon. However, it is realized in aquatic environment in situations wherein competition and overgrowth of the population are met within the environment. The population in aquatic environment can also be distributed vertically. The organisms having wide range of tolerance to the environment conditions are called heterotrophic organisms. Organisms having narrow range of tolerance to the environmental conditions are said to be the stenotropic organism. The heterotrophic organisms got themselves distributed vertically all through the water column, whereas the stenotropic organisms distributes either in the surface layers or in the middle depth or nearer to the bottom in the water body, depending on the optimal environmental conditions suitable to them. The factors such as density, water currents, temperature, light, nutrients, parasites, predators, prey populations, etc. govern the vertical distribution in aquatic environment in the migratory behavior of the organism. In the vertical columns of the water during 24 hours of the day referred is a dicey vertical migration. Dicey vertical migrations. Distribution in time. Population distribution with reference to time is known as a temporal distribution. The temporal distribution of population is generally studied over a period of an year. Hence, it is also being referred to as annual distribution. The distribution pattern of the population over a period of an year varies significantly. The peak periodically of the population are realized when environmental factors are favorable for the growth and the reproduction of the populations. The lowest ebb of the populations are known when the environment parameters are anatogenetic, antagonistic to the growth and the reproduction of the populations. Generally, the factors such as turbidity, temperature, light, nutrients, competitions, parasitism, predations, etc. will govern the temporal distribution of population. The geographical distribution of the populations in an area can be distinguished as sy- symptom, symptom, symptomatic and allotropic. Symptomatic and allotropic population. The symptomatic populations are the overlapping population in a geographical region. The allotropic population are the isolated populations. Today we are studying the biological process. Within that we are studying the origin of the life. Many theories is there. Within that the theories is we are studied. Then biological evolution. Within the evolution, many theories is proposed. James Hutton, Corliss, Lamarck theory, Darwin theory, many theories we have studied. Next one is we have studied the species concept. Within that, morphological species concept, genetic species concept, biological species concept, we have studied. Then species in population and the density of population, distribution of population, within the density population, factors affecting density of the population,
space-related population, time-related population, like that we are studying. Then the types of distribution of the population. Within that, the distribution in space, the random distribution, non-random distribution, the distribution in time. Now we are studying these different topics today. Now the segment 2 is completed. Thank you to everyone listening this topic. Now we have started in topic 3. Now we have started 3, the ecosystem. The ecosystem is most important topic in the subject. Our subject is ecology and environment and development. So within that, the ecosystem topic is the most important topic within that. So within that, we have started the scopes and history of the ecology. We started scope and history of ecosystem. Ecology em- encompasses so many complexly interrelated concepts and phenomena involving several levels of organisms. Also, there is no ideal outline or perfect sequ- sequential order for the presentation of the subject. These order of the best suited to the syllabus of the ecology. The, as man's power to alter the environment has expanded, the need to have an intelligent knowledge of the ecology and the environment has become more essential than ever before. The subject treated in this unit provides a good significance into the field to any graduate learner or beginner of the ecology for a detailed study. These interested in it the advised to refer fundamentals of ecology authored by the Eugene Rodmond 1971, published by the W.B. Sanders Company, London, which formed the primary source for this subject represented here. Scopes and history of the ecology. Thank you to everyone. That's good. Scope and history of the ecology and movement of the world frequently encounter, usually in association with the humanity and the development. More often than not, they are misused and misquoted. However, these two words have assumed increasing importance in the recent times than ever before. The word ecology was first proposed by the German biologist Ernest Haeckel in 1869 and has its origin in Greek oikos, meaning place to live. Literally, ecology is a study of organisms at home. The term has been variously defined from time to time before it attained the status of a recognized distinct field of science. One of the best widely used definitions describes ecology as a study of the relations between organisms and the totality of the physical and biological factors affecting them or influenced by them. Priyanka in 1983, a brief it is a study of interrelationship between organisms and their environment. Environment includes everything from sunlight, air, soil, water, and rain to other organisms. For example, the environment of a tiger consists not only of other plants and animals encountered directly or utilized for food, shelter, and range, but also of purely physical process and inorganic substances such as fluctuations in the weather conditions, terrain type, ability to explore, exploit the resources, so on. This environment of most organisms is extremely complex and consequently ecology takes in aspects of the many other fields including mathematics, physical sciences, geosciences, social sciences, economics, anthropology, and many other fields besides various subdisciplines of the biology. Although the label ecology was in use from about 1900, studies which were clearly ecological in nature appeared from the